So we're officially about a month out from fall. It sneaks up on you quick. And what I like to do every year around this time of year is kind of give you an introduction into some fall fragrances. And the reason why I like to do this is because I don't want you guys to feel like you have to wait until fall to start buying up all of your fall scents. Again, that comes around the corner really quickly. By the time it gets here and you start buying some stuff up, pretty quickly, you're going to be getting into those winter temperatures, and fall generally comes and goes pretty quick, kind of similar to spring. It seems like spring and fall, at least around here, is pretty short-lived in terms of the temperatures. And so if you want to make the most of your fall season and you really want to get into some scents that do represent that time of year very well, you can get ahead of the game and start picking some up now, and you'll be set to go. I'll go ahead and drop some links to these down below to discounters if you want to pick some up for yourself. Again, these are all kind of being lumped into a fall video, but these can work very well in winter time as well. Generally, we're just talking cooler times of the year with these. But to me, these do all give off some sort of fall, autumn type of smell, and just kind of gives you that feeling of what you might think of when you picture the leaves changing colors and that cool air and throwing on a hoodie and just enjoying that time of year. To me, these are all representative of that picture in my head. Let's get things kicked off with Hugo Boss The Scent Private Accord. Now, this is going to be actually one of my favorites of the line, and there are quite a bit. It's expanding and growing every single year. Now, they are also discontinuing them as time goes on. I believe this is one that is kind of technically discontinued, or at least starting to get a little bit more rare. It's not a huge deal right now. You can still pick this one up on discounters. I'll put a link, but you can get it for just under $100 or so. What I like is that it does have that Maninka fruit DNA, which is very unique, but they're utilizing some coffee here in this one. You're getting a lot of woody notes as well. You almost get a little bit of a leathery tone, slightly. I don't even think that's officially a note in here, but I do kind of pick up on it. Just gives it a little bit more of a masculine type of edge. I really like this one because of the balance. It's not too sweet. It's not too woody. It's not too fruity from the very unique Maninka fruit accord in here. There's just a nice mixture of a bunch of different notes and accords. Everything works together to create a scent that smells perfect when the temperatures start to get a little bit cool. The quality of this one is also great as well. No complaints there. Performance is pretty decent. Not beast mode per se, but the scent itself does pack a serious punch in terms of like the impression that it makes. Like when you smell this one up in the air, it makes a statement. It's very bold. But I'm also not saying that it's a slouch in the performance department either. It really does pretty well. It holds its own for what you would expect out of a scent like this. Next up we have Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé. Hands down one of my favorite flankers within the entire lineup. This stuff is incredible, and the reason why I like it so much is because they brought in the addition of a couple really, really good notes that I love to see used in fragrances, right? And those are going to be chestnut and whiskey. So the iris in here has been within the line this whole time. That's nothing new, but you still get a lot of it, right? That's kind of the star of the show here, that iris accord. It smells great, but it has a little bit of a splash of a boozy, whiskey, kind of bright, sweet accord here, and then even more of a gourmand element from the chestnut. And you also get some other supplementary notes like the tonka bean and some woody notes and things like that. Just that general Gentleman Eau de Parfum DNA. There's some vanilla in here. There's even a little bit of a slight kind of chocolatey feel, similar to that of what Dior Homme Intense has, you know, kind of the ambrette, chocolatey type of thing. You get a little bit of that here, probably mostly coming from the mixture of the iris, the vanilla, and chestnut and everything like that coming together. It smells fantastic. Again, this is the one to get, in my opinion. If you're looking to pick up a gentleman scent, you just want to start with one out of the entire line, this is a great place to start. And also, it works great for the upcoming season of fall. When those temperatures start to drop, this one is fantastic because it can work on those slightly warmer days, but it also holds up really well on those chillier, cooler, kind of frosty fall mornings. You can also get this one at discounters now relatively often, and it will be below retail, which is always a plus. Next up, we have LALIQUE Ombre Noir. So really nice presentation on this. Kind of reminds you of the LALIQUE Encre Noir scents, although admittedly this presentation is better. You are paying quite a bit more for this one at discounters. usually around, let's call it $70 or so, kind of within that range, 65, 75, meet in the middle, kind of where this one is. The Encre Noirs are usually around 20 to 30, so there's a price difference there. You can tell so in the quality of the presentation, the bottle, the cap, heavy, thick glass. You can also tell in the quality of the scent. And more importantly to me, that's one thing about this, this cap does not at all stay on, so it will just fall off like that. I about flung it across the room there. Back to what I was saying, one thing about this also is that it is incredibly unique. I don't really think I have anything else in my collection or have smelled anything else, period, that is really like this one, and I do find that to be special in this day and age, considering a lot of things start to kind of run together and smell similar. So we'll take a look at those notes here. We've got some tobacco, some cognac, some cinnamon, some myrrh, and interestingly enough, a little bit of fig. And I am not the biggest fan of that note. Fig, fig leaf, whatever. I don't like it really often at all. But in here, it's so subtle, and I have to say, as strange as it sounds, it works really well with the tobacco, with the cognac, that booziness, that woodiness. It smells fantastic. This is an incredible scent. And again, I want to double down on the fact that it is truly unique. The cinnamon in here gives it that warm, spicy feeling, which really kind of equates to the fall feel. And you might have heard I just snapped the cap into place. I guess I wasn't pushing down on it hard enough. That's kind of embarrassing. It does click into place. That was a stupid segment. So make sure you're aware of that when you get your bottle. Amazing stuff. Fall is the time of year for this one right here. And of course you can extend this one into winter time and be great, but it does have that kind of cool, chilly kind of personality, comforting smell that you would expect out of a fall scent. And I mean, come on, when you look at the color of this stuff, it legitimately looks like, you know, brown, yellow leaves on the trees of fall. Amazing, amazing stuff. This is a must buy for the fall season. Next up, we have Invictus Intense by PACO RABANNE. You can grab little 50 mLs like this for mid $40 range testers right now. You can grab 100 ml testers for $97. You can get 100 ml full pres for up over $100 a little bit. Sounds expensive for Invictus, and that's because it's a discontinued one. You know, generally regular Invictus you can get for what, $50 or $60 all day long, depending on, you know, tester, full pres, whatever. Because this one is no longer being produced and there's less of it, the price goes up, and that's just simple supply and demand that unfortunately still applies to the fragrance community. And so I want to include this one while I can because I really like it. It's actually one of the few Invictus flankers that I really get behind. You know, I'm really liking the victories, right? Of course, I have loved Invictus Aqua. But in terms of the others, you know, the original, Legend, and things like that, I like them, but I don't love them personally. And when I talk about them, it's more so recommending them because they do good at what they were designed to do. Mass-pleasing, pull compliments, great performance, but I don't personally get excited about them. Invictus Intense is one that I really do like. So we've got a little bit of whiskey in here, amber and ambergris. So that Invictus DNA, the kind of sweet, bubblegummy, bay leaf type of thing going on. Of course, the amber, the ambroxan, whatever, right? All of that is standard, but the whiskey is what sets this one apart, and that's what I really like about it. It's not too strong. It doesn't smell like a legitimate handle of whiskey. You're not going to get in trouble wearing this one to work. Same with the Gentleman we talked about earlier. They're designer scents, they're subdued, they're not niche. It's not like Nasamato Baranda or something, which people might think that you just threw up whiskey all over yourself. Very, very mild. But it does give it that added touch, that added flair that I really like to see out of an Invictus flanker. I find this one to be overall more interesting and more fun than a lot of the others. It's a shame that it's discontinued, but they got to do what they got to do to keep pumping them out. Grab a bottle of this while you can. It's a nice collector's piece. It's great for fall. Next up, we have ROJA Parfums Creation E, or Enigma, depending on where in the world you are at. So, same exact thing, just the name is a little bit different. Again, location dependent. But this one is the Parfum Cologne. I would say for a lot of you guys out there, just go for the Parfum Cologne. If you are a diehard ROJA collector, if you are someone who is also very interested in the depth of a scent and the quality and things like that, you might really see the need to go for the Parfum. I've got both, right? I have, you know, purchased the Parfums and Parfum colognes across the board. They've sent me things for free, but I've also purchased a lot. And I started off my ROJA collection purchasing them. And so, you know, I've spent a good amount of money in these scents, and it is one of my favorite niche brands. I love them, right? Creation E is one that I always look forward to wearing around this time of year. This one also has a boozy accord. It's got a lot of tobacco in here, some woods going on. More mature, more sophisticated, and more refined compared to some of the others out there on the market. Sometimes a boozy scent can be a little bit childish smelling, a little bit playful smelling, which sounds counterintuitive, you know, but sometimes they kind of come across that way. But not this one. This one has a much more premium smell and personality and wearing experience overall, and that's coupled with the premium presentation. I think when it comes down to it, it's all about the experience when you're wearing stuff like this. And after all, the very first part of that experience is looking at the bottle. You know, you're looking to see what you want to wear. You see this bottle with that nice cap, nice gradient, just nice look to it. That's a bonus. You pick the bottle up, it's got a nice feel, everything feels great. Another bonus, you spray it on, the atomizer is good, and then finally you experience the smell. Again, it's an experience, guys. That's what niche is all about, and designers, of course, everything, fragrance, it's all about the experience, but it's kind of a heightened level when you get to something like this. And if you want something that is premium for the fall time and winter, look no further. Let's keep it moving with Stronger With You Intensely. I really like this one because it has that sweet, playful, and carefree DNA. So kind of the opposite of what we just covered. You know, there are options for everybody. Do you want something that's going to have people really taking you seriously, or do you want something that's going to be a little bit more carefree, relaxed, and just kind of casual? If that's what you want there, then go for Stronger With You Intensely. To be fair, you could toss in your favorite version, whatever you like. I love Absolutely. Generally, I'll kind of save that one more for winter time. It also has a booziness, right? It's got more of a sweetness. It has that chestnut, the vanilla, the tonka bean, everything like that. This one is, I'm not going to say fresher because it's not fresh. Maybe that's not the best descriptor, but it's less rich and less heavy as Absolutely, which is an Absolute, which is a Parfum. This is an Eau de Parfum. It still has great performance. It's just a little bit more mild in comparison, which is why I would use this one for fall. AZZARO, the Most Wanted Parfum, is super unique. I really like it. It's one of my favorite flankers right next to AZZARO Wanted by Night. The reason why I like this one is because it has a very unique kind of ginger, vanillic, grapes, soda, fizzy type of opening, which is, again, weird sounding. But get your nose on this one, seriously. It has a unique kind of texture and feel to it off the top, even moving into the dry down. Still very sweet, has kind of less of the Wanted DNA than some of the others. So, you know, same with the Most Wanted, the regular one. Also has less of that DNA. So they kind of move away from that a little bit with these two, which is another reason why I like it. It just kind of gives you a different wearing experience overall. But because it has that fizzy, kind of bright, effervescent, fresh pop off the opening, that's kind of why I like it for fall, because fall can be in between, can be warm, could be cold, whatever. This kind of gives you that flexibility. And last up, you probably thought I was going to leave this DNA out, but I didn't. I saved it for last because, to me, I've gone on and on about this. It's probably an obvious one for anyone who is not new to the channel, okay? And it's Rochas Moustache Eau de Parfum, and really what it comes down to is it is the YSL Tuxedo DNA. So take your favorite clone, favorite alternative, or the real deal, and put it in spot for this one. Okay, that's kind of how I talk about these. I love this DNA. And there are, again, different options to go for. There's Fragrance World Suits. There is Maison Alhambra the Tux. There's Afnan Tarathi Brown. There's Rochas Moustache Eau de Parfum. There's the real deal, and there's probably more out there. So where does this one stand? Why this in particular? Well, the reason why I like Moustache and why I do feature it still, even after having those amazing clones, is because this one actually is a little bit of a different take on the DNA. So if you want a straight up clone, I would go for Fragrance World Suits, Alhambra the Tux, whichever one you can get. The bottles even look just like the real deal. even Afnan Taarathi Brown will get you very close. I like this one because it's more vanilla and pink pepper focused. It still has that patchouli kind of ambergris, almost smoky mysteriousness going on, but it just in a different approach with the added vanilla, with the pink pepper spiciness instead of getting the spices from like the patchouli and the other varieties that they're using in Tuxedo. And so it's just a different take on that DNA. It's a refresher. It's something that just changes things up. But rest assured, this one still smells like fall. And this probably is one of the most small fall-smelling fragrance DNAs that I've ever encountered. Again, just the Tuxedo DNA. The real deal, the clones, this type of scent just smells like autumn. As soon as I smell this, I picture the leaves, everything changing, that cool weather, the wind, all of that stuff, right? This is the embodiment of the season of fall, and I love it. You can get this one for mid-$50 range online. It's a must-have. If you want to have access to some of the most rare, discontinued, and hard-to-find fragrances on the market, get on my mailing list at the first link down below and my texting list at the number down below. I promise you won't regret it. Dior Homme Parfum, been popping up on a month-to-month basis. Large amounts of it too, so a lot of you guys are able to jump in and get yourself a bottle if you are on those lists. Again, I promise you will not regret signing up. I'll notify you of everything rare, discontinued, hard to find, good deals, flash sales, new fragrance releases, hitting discounters, and all of that. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.